almost like the Flashpoint, where it starts, one of the key matrix lines that will help shatter this status centralized system. How do you think the empire is going to launch wars? Lies about WMDs, Saddam beating the brains out of babies in incubators, Libyan rape gangs fueled by Viagra, all lies. And that's what this Kony garbage is, and that's what you are, Jolie, and all the rest of the scum that serves you, and all the rest of the so-called left in Hollywood that are promoting this. You deserve to be arrested. You are a greater threat than some little minor thug warlord who's probably dead, Joseph Kony. You're a danger and a threat to humanity, and you're helping commit crimes against humanity by your propaganda war, your psyop. I'll have more reports on the radio about this, but I want this message to go to Jolie and all the other corporate whores, that the American people, the people of the world, and the people of Africa are waking up to you and aren't buying your garbage. We know who you are.
Hello, my friends. Hello, my friends. My name is Jay-Z. I am your host here on Flashpoint Radio. It is Tuesday, March 13th here in St. Louis, Missouri, and you just got done watching a clip from one of Alex Jones's newest video posts titled "Why Angelina Jolie Needs to Go to Prison." Humorous? Maybe. Serious? Most definitely. Dead on? I think for sure. Tonight we're going to touch on the Kony 2012, the Joseph Kony Lord's Resistance Army Uganda propaganda story that is being touted by all of the elite and the Hollywood superstars and high-ups in governments around the world. I want to remind everyone that you can follow me on Twitter. I don't post much, but that's because I don't have anyone listening to me. But my Twitter handle is @FlashpointRadio. And on Facebook, facebook.com/FlashpointRadio. Like me on Facebook and share me with your friends. Click subscribe above to continue to stay up to date and to get your inbox filled with what I consider non-junk mail, updates of new Flashpoint radios for you to take in and consume. Before we get into the Joseph Kony, I want to touch on a subject I talked about in depth last night, which is the killing of Afghan civilians, 16 of them, 9 children, 3 women, by supposedly one very sick U.S. soldier. I'd like to point you to an article in the description below. Always look in the description below for articles I speak about. I want you to do your own research. I do not want you to take my word for any of the information I give you. I want you to learn how to decide and learn how to decipher and wade through all of the information out there. It's not that hard. You just have to use your common sense to figure out what is true. But this comes to us from Yahoo, a Reuters article. Headline, "Seeking the Roots of a U.S. Soldier's Shooting Rampage." So, you know, it's only been 4 days and the U.S. government has already laid out that he was a sick soldier. He acted alone even though there were conflicting reports. And it turns out he had some sort of mental illness or brain injury as a result of a crash when he was deployed in Iraq. This was, by the way, his 4th deployment, first in Afghanistan. This lengthy article goes over all kinds of stuff: PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, TBI, traumatic brain injury, and all of the things that can be related to it. It goes over some stats of you know, susceptibility to violence by people who have suffered this. And throughout the entire article, the one thing that doesn't come up is what kind of medication they're giving these soldiers for PTSD and TBI, traumatic brain injury. Funny that Prozac and all of the psychotropic drugs are involved in almost all of the school shootings and mass violence pulled off in this country, and yet no one, not even a mention of what this gentleman, what this soldier might have been on and what kind of treatment they might have given him. And they always say, oh, he stopped taking his meds and he went crazy. But if someone kills a bunch of people because they stopped taking the meds that are supposed to keep them normal, is it them that is the blame, or is it the meds? Because if they had never got on the meds in the first place, then the withdrawal wouldn't have been so psycho crazy. So I urge you to demand that we find out if this gentleman was on any drugs so we can know if they're being prescribed to our children in this country. Moving right along, right into Kony 2012. A lot of articles for you to check out from various outlets, InfoWars namely, as was the clip at the beginning. This comes to us from Alex Jones in InfoWars. Obama's Kony 2012 campaign propaganda on parade. You know, he's talking about Angelina Jolie, who is now a UN envoy, an official mouthpiece for the United Nations, and she's out saying Joseph Kony is involved in one of the greatest tragedies that, population reduction and killing of people and ethnic cleansing that has ever happened. They're making comparisons between him and Hitler, which is laughable, at best, laughable. The amount of people that this man is supposedly killed, maybe upwards of 100,000, and he's being compared to Hitler? Give me a break, Angelina Jolie. Give me a break, George Clooney and all of your other globalist friends who want to make us believe that they actually care about the lowly citizens and civilians and people living on this planet. Well, they don't. Joseph Kony leads this Lord's Resistance Army in northern Uganda, which you probably, and most people that are, supporting this movement probably don't know where Uganda is. It's in basically the middle of Africa. And in the northern part, this Lord's Resistance Army, this guy Joseph Kony, who I'm sure is a horrible person, was going around stealing children from their parents, making children kill their parents, creating a child army. And this comes to us from Invisible Children, which is the movie that everyone keeps talking about, and they want you to donate and send our troops over to catch this guy. And it says from the front page, Invisible Children uses film, creativity, and social action to end the use of child soldiers in Joseph Kony's rebel war and restore LRA-affected communities in Central Africa to peace and prosperity. Well, when were those communities part of peace and prosperity? I would like to really know that because, well, let's look at Uganda. Uganda, a country that got its independence from Great Britain in 1967, put into power Yoweri Museveni, and this is the president of Uganda, and he assumed office in January of 1986. 1986. If that's not a dictator, I don't know what is. But guess what? He was put into power by our troops and our Western-backed powers, and so he is our choice to be the dictator of a country, just like we chose Gaddafi and we chose Saddam Hussein before we decided to turn on them as well. Turns out that this gentleman, ABC Australia's Jeff Sparrow, says that Kony has not been in the country for 6 years, so no one's seen this guy who is supposedly a mass murderer on the level of Hitler and is as dangerous as Anwar al-Awlaki and Osama bin Laden and the Boogeyman all put together. He is Dracula incarnate, and he will suck your blood if we do not stop him. This gentleman hasn't even been seen in 6 years. And let's look at the WikiLeaks page for the Lord's Resistance Army. Their strength in 2007, at the height of their power, was 3,000 fighting on their side. Estimated today, and this is a ridiculously high estimate, 300 to 400 people. So he has 300 to 400 troops. We don't even know if he's still alive, but we need to send U.S. military, and we need to start a peace war or bombing like we did in Libya and we want to do in Syria to protect these people. This is crazy. This is just UN ethnic cleansing and the great game playing off two sides against each other. When you look at this Yoweri Museveni and you see, well, he must be a good guy if this Kony's a bad guy. No, it says his presidency was marred, however, by invading and occupying the Congo during the Second Congo War. The war in the Democratic Republic of Congo has resulted in an estimated 5.4 million deaths since 1998. Yes, you heard that right, 5.4 million deaths since 1998. And this Joseph Kony guy, who has 200 to 300 troops, is a world issue, and it is a must-take-care-of-now issue, and we have to go over there and send United States troops and NATO troops and international peacekeepers over there. Well, let's look another. This comes to us from the UK Mail Online. UK aid cash helped African dictator buy himself a $30 million Euro jet. So this guy, the president of Uganda, has starving people all over his country with AIDS and other diseases, and he buys himself a $30 million jet. Sounds like we need to keep him in power for much, much longer. What's even funnier is this comes to us from ABC News from October of last year. Obama sends 100 U.S. troops to Uganda to help combat Lord's Resistance Army. He sent Special Forces troops, 100 troops to fight 300 to 400 African soldiers who probably are children nonetheless. But what can you say? This is the world we live in. War is peace. Peace, war is peace. Love is hate. Everything's upside down. Have you seen Wag the Dog? It's about a made-up war to create political popularity. Have you seen 1984? They just had perpetual wars against the same people over and over just to spread fear. They're creating a boogeyman out of the most laughable man you could possibly create a boogeyman after. Every country in Africa has a dictator. Every country in Africa has had its share of genocide, but we choose this part. People, we have to stop letting celebrities choose our causes. Because if you believe celebrities actually care about you and care about the small people, you are insane. They use nonprofit organizations as tax shelters to get around the taxes. And they use your money you pay for at the movie theaters and on TV and at the record stores and online on iTunes. They use that money to fund eugenics, bioethicists, and people that want to destroy this world and eliminate upwards of 90% of the people. Check it out. And, well, we're going to look real quick at 3 links that I need you to check out in the description. So, Angelina Jolie is calling for international aid and rescue. This comes to us from a blog, Atlas Shrugs 2000. After decades of sexual crimes, UN Sex for Food scandal. And it goes through a raft of sexual misconduct and pedophilia cases involving UN and NATO troops. This comes to us from Infowars.net. In November of 2006, a BBC investigation found out that children as young as 11 were prostituted by United Nations peacekeepers in Haiti and Liberia. In 2003, the AP reported that UN officials were identified as using a ship chartered for peacekeepers to traffic young girls from Thailand to East Timor. And in the same year, it was revealed that UN staff were guilty of raping women on a systematic scale in Sierra Leone. And this comes to us from a reputable, or, a mainstream source, The Telegraph, headline, UN staff accused of raping children in Sudan, from 2007. So the peacekeepers, the international peacekeepers that you think care about you and care about the world and care about humanity, they do not. They constantly kill innocent civilians over and over and over and over and over. Why? Not because they're making mistakes, not because of logistical errors, not because of bad hiring. It's because of perfect hiring by the New World Order and the globalists. They want people to kill people. They recruit people that have no value of life and that will do just anything just to stay in power and to have a blue helmet or a gun on their shoulder. And these people are demons, literal demons walking this earth and attempting to sell us in this peace and love. Everything is peace and love, and we care about everything. Well, guess what? They don't care about the people in Africa, and they don't care about you. They want you off their planet, and they want you to stop breathing their air. Get it through your head. Check the links. Lots of links below. Joseph Kony is a hoax. If you want to watch the real video, link below. Watch it for yourself. They had to turn off the comments because everyone kept saying you are lying to America and the rest of the world. So don't buy into this Hollywood hype. If Hollywood is hyping a situation like Darfur or something, then it's got a hidden agenda, and that hidden agenda is usually control, domination, and stealing of natural resources for the New World Order and the globalist elite. Thank you for watching Flashpoint Radio. Follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. Subscribe to me. Share this with your friends. Let's get the information out there. Caucus, Missouri, Ron Paul, this Saturday. Show up. Caucus training this Thursday, 7 p.m. at the Stratford Inn in South County. I expect to meet some of you there. Thank you for watching Flashpoint Radio. I am Jay-Z, your host, signing off, saying God bless, and keep your eyes to the sky. With the feathers of angels stuck beneath your head. The regulator, swinging pendulum.